Dawn Brooker took over from Tom Kitwood when he died at the turn of the century. And she, back in 2004, tried to summarise what Kitwood meant by positive person work. And she said that positive person work is fundamentally a social psychology which is based on 4 principles. That the person with dementia, and importantly here, also the caregiver, are valued as people, that the person is cared for in an individualised way, that the carers and caregivers take the perspective of the person cared for, and they provide a social context which is supportive and nurturing. Now, I don't know if that sounds familiar. Brooker wrote that in 2004, and back in 2 years later, in 2006, we have the NICE guidelines. And if you look at those 4 principles of the NICE guidelines, they're cribbed completely from Brooker's VIPS model. So, what we're aiming to do in providing a positive care environment which will enhance somebody's personhood is deliver care that meets those 4 VIPS principles. So let's take one as an example for you. Individualize care. What do we mean by caring for somebody as a person? And Brooker suggests that there are some obvious questions you can ask yourself to help you evaluate, in my home, are we delivering individualised care? Because individualised care is a lot more than ensuring that people have their own care plans. Yes, that's one element of it, but it is simply one element of it. You have to ensure that the whole culture of care is geared towards people as individuals. So you need to ensure that people have their own possessions, that people's personal preferences about whether they take tea or coffee, whether they have sugar in it, whether they have a bath or a shower, are respected. That they have access to activities which are meaningful for them and will give them value, and that they have access to this sort of activity on a regular basis. You can often stand back and think, well, who makes the key decisions in this home? Okay? So who in my home decides when people are going to go to bed or to get up? Is it geared towards the person and their personal preferences, or is this something that as a care home we are constrained by and we operate within a framework here? Who decides what somebody's going to have to eat or drink, how somebody's going to spend their day? The sort of physical environment that they're in, the bedding that they have, the colours, the decor. What the nub of the person-centred care model is that if we can deliver care which is based on positive person work, we will be enhancing people's sense of personhood. So ideally, what you're trying to do is ensure that as somebody's dementia develops and the pathological changes in their brain progress, we are reacting to them in such a way that despite what's going on inside their heads, we are able to be supporting them as people and enabling them to maintain themselves as a person. On the other hand, if our social psychology is a malignant one, so the way in which we react to them actually undermines their sense of personhood, paradoxically, although it may be the last thing that we intend, what happens is that as their dementia progresses and the neurological impairment gets worse, because of how we react to them, we're reinforcing that process. So with the Kitwood model, the objective of person-centred care is positive personhood, positive person work in order to enhance and maintain person.